What?
I'm going to have to restart my router.
Really?
Yeah, well, my internet's down.
What? I can. What? I can hear you.
No, this is a pre-recording that I emailed to you before the internet went down.
You emailed me through Discord.
Yep. I'm a
Wow.
hackerman.
You really are elite.
I'm just that good at predicting what you're going to say as well.
Okay.
I
Grapes.
did have ribs for lunch. Thanks for asking, Cooper.
Okay. Wait, is it really not going live, though?
No, we're live. I was just yanking your chain.
Ah, my chain, it's been yanked.
But my parents came down today.
Oh, nice. How are they doing?
They're doing good. We got some lunch at Smokeworks. You remember that place?
Yeah, I do. Oh,
so good.
that was pretty good.
It was so good.
Did you get a side of macaroni and cheese?
No, their macaroni and cheese isn't very good. I got potato salad. Their potato salad's very good.
Oh, that's good too.
But then we went to the store and I got a little basket to hold all my video game controllers, and I got a knife block for all the knives they got me for Christmas.
Oh, nice. Instead of just having them littered around your counter like you're
no, they were
going to commit a
littered
felony
around the cabinet. Thank you.
Okay.
Handle side out, so I could reach in and not grab the blade.
Oh man, I did a really stupid thing a couple days ago where I was cutting something and the knife fell and I went to catch it, which you're never supposed to do,
Yeah,
but it was
you're
like
supposed to let it
instinct,
drop.
right? Yeah, but I caught it my pinched like the blade like between my two fingers, and I stopped. I'm like, oh, that could have been really bad.
So lucky. At least you didn't try and catch it with your foot or something like you're dropping your phone.
Yeah,
That would have been really bad.
I
got a knife through my foot into the floor. Should I go to the hospital?
I like having all my fingers and toes.
It's a pretty nice experience.
Yeah, I'd rate it 20 out of 20.
Do you have work tomorrow?
Yes, I do work on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Lame.
Oh, you with your government job.
Jonah's not working tomorrow either.
Well, yeah, but Jonah sometimes just doesn't work.
Yeah. He probably didn't work today either, considering the weather.
No. We didn't work today, so, that seems fair.
Yeah. He can work whenever he wants, though.
Yes. I do wish I had a Monday off, but, I'm gearing up for the end of my job, so I've got a meeting tomorrow with my boss to timeline it.
I get Friday off, too.
What? Oh, right, because you get the every other week.
9 by 80, baby.
9 by 80.
But I gotta check. I think I should have gotten my paycheck on Friday.
Ooh. You gonna buy another GameCube?
No, I'm not gonna buy another GameCube.
You can stack them like Jenga blocks.
If I get enough, I can play Jenga with GameCubes.
That sounds expensive.
Probably be easier to play Jenga with the new Xbox. It's
yeah,
a Jenga block shape.
That'd be even more expensive.
But now that we've said it, how long until someone does it?
What? Some like rich YouTubers like, I bought 87 Xboxes.
And we're going to play Jenga.
Hi, I'm 19 and this is my $80 million mansion.
I invited over my 16 friends who are only friends with me because I have a lot of money, and we're going to play Xbox Jenga. And at the end of the day, they're each going to get to take home 3.
And the loser, I just stop paying them. They become unemployed.
That reminds me of that the Meat Canyon video about Mr. Beast.
I remember watching that one. His videos are weird, man.
They are. He released a new one today. I haven't watched it yet since my parents were here. But
You didn't watch it in front of your parents?
No, I didn't watch anything in front of my parents because I was talking to them and cuddling with my dog. Thank you very much.
Oh, I thought you were about to say cuddling with them. I was about to be like, oh, okay.
No, we sat around the table and talked.
Ah, good. Oh, man. I should have eaten before this.
You haven't had dinner yet?
No, I was going to make dinner, But then I started looking up stuff about Long Beach, and I got distracted.
Sounds like your own fault.
It is. I'm not blaming anyone besides myself, but I'll also do it after.
I ended up just having to make some ramen because I I don't have really any ready to eat food. I gotta cook tomorrow. I'm making chicken tikka marsala.
Oh, nice. Actually, my roommate just made that today.
The whitest of Indian foods.
It really is. It's like starter Indian.
Yeah, but it tastes really, the recipe I have tastes really good. I'm like, I want something that's, a little bit spicy, but not too much. I still have that habanero. I don't know if I should blend that up and mix it in with the sauce. That might be a bit too much.
A single? How much sauce?
It's a week's worth of food.
It'll still be pretty spicy.
It is, yeah. I'm probably just gonna toss
maybe
it.
like a fourth habanero.
I'm probably just
with
gonna
no
toss
seeds.
it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make some stir fry for my lunches this week.
No, I don't do anything fancy for lunches. You know what I do every day for lunch? Literally every day I go to work.
What?
Peanut butter and jelly sandwich and banana.
Yeah, but you get tired of that eventually,
oh my
right?
God, you'd think, but holy crap, I am so excited every day to eat that peanut butter and jelly. I don't know why. I feel like I'm in elementary school. Oh boy, lunchtime, time for peanut butter and jelly.
You don't throw in some crackers, a cosmic brownie?
Nope. Just peanut butter and jelly and a banana.
Oh, well.
But I don't use jelly, I use preserves, so it's better.
Well, the perks of working from home all the time is I can just go in my fridge and grab some food I made on Sunday, or will make at this point.
Oh, yeah, it's true. You literally don't go into the office. I forgot.
Yeah, so. In fact, I probably won't go before I take my new position.
No, probably not.
Oh, that can't be helped.
Yeah. Well, it remains to be seen if you'll actually go into your new job either.
I mean, I'll be there. Will I go to the office?
I sure hope so. Otherwise, moving all the way out there is going to be a big waste of money.
Hey, life's about adventure, Sam.
And plus, you're not paying for it.
Hard cut 3 months later. Change.
Spare change.
You try to hit it big in the city, kid? What, acting? Engineering.
Need to go to Hollywood for that.
All those Hollywood chemical engineers.
Yeah.
Living the lifestyle.
You gonna get on with it then?
Yeah, let's get on.
Alrighty, let me click the button. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop Podcast. This week, we are discussing Purple Rain by Prince. Cooper was in the mood for some Prince. I'm a basic bitch, so I said Purple Rain.
Hey, you can definitely choose worse.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? Let's do something popular. I feel like we haven't done a big star-studded album for a while now.
I mean, Purple Rain's about as big as they come. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For those of you who don't know about myself. Prince, or about Prince in general,
the artist who formerly lived as Prince.
Hey! Wait. My dad said that when I was said we'd be reviewing this. I said I wouldn't make that joke because Sam would find it in poor taste. But
are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. Great.
Do you know me? Come on.
Apparently not. No, but Prince, real name Prince Rogers Nelson. So yes, Prince is his real name.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's his first name. Lived from, like you said, he has deceased about 5 years ago now.
Really? Jesus. I didn't realize it had been so long.
Yeah, it seems like it had been more recent. But 2016. 2016 was also 5 years ago.
Yeah, it feels a lot longer, if we'll be honest.
But he was a American singer-songwriter, musician, dancer, actor. Kind of known for his kind of multi-instrumentalist take on things. Obviously his main instrument was the electric guitar. But even beyond his instrumental virtuoso, he's also very known for his eclectic and kind of flamboyant persona. And his kind of wide vocal range, where he frequently hits high-reaching falsetto and/or screams.
Didn't he have that guitar that was shaped like the symbol?
Yes, the love symbol.
Yeah.
That's actually a fun little story of he was with Warner Brothers, a record, and he was in a contract with them, and he didn't like working for them. So to kind of rebel, instead of marketing under his name, he marketed under his name being that unpronounceable symbol that's just called the love symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a guitar out that. So,
I remember that guitar. That was a cool guitar.
Yeah, it's a cool guitar. But yeah, he was also born and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, during that contract dispute, he changed his name to the love symbol, aka the much memed, the artist formerly known as Prince,
Mm-hmm.
instead of using his name. And dude's been he's been a high seller, Sam. 150 million records worldwide.
I believe it.
He's got Grammys, American Music Awards, an Academy Award, a Golden Globe. He's in like every rock and roll Hall of Fame that there is. And one of his biggest albums, and the one we're reviewing, is Purple Rain. So this is his 6th studio album, released all the way back in 1984. It's actually the soundtrack to a film of the same name. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes, it's I've never seen the movie myself. Prince is the lead actor in it.
Of course.
Obviously. Back when they made like kind of like musical rock and roll musicals, a la The Wall or stuff like that. So people don't remember the movie as much as the album nowadays, and it's frequently ranked as like one of the greatest albums of all time. It's like it was like number 100 or something on like the 500 greatest albums of all time by the Rolling Stone. Obviously
number one was some Bob Dylan album.
No Bob Dylan, but still. And it went 13 times platinum. That's 25 million sales worldwide.
Jesus.
So, good seller. And very popular.
Yeah, I'll say.
So, fair to say, there's a reason why it's well known.
Yeah. Let's get on into it then with track number 1.
Track number 1, Let's Go Crazy. Yeah, so this is the opening track too, and of course, since this is a movie album,
Mm-hmm.
the songs are in order as they appear in the movie, which actually kind of leads to a nice kind of album structure, because obviously a movie follows a particular emotional journey, and thus, since the album's based on the movie or vice versa, the album also follows that kind of structure.
Yeah, and it flows pretty well, and I made some notes on that when we get to the specific songs. But man, this first song really just throws you into the deep end.
It has like a minute-long monologue for electric organ, and then it throws you.
But it's got some really heavy synth in the background. The only part that kind of threw me off during the monologue was there's that section where he does the rapid keys up, and that sounds like the Rugrats intro.
I did not make that connection, but
like when they flash up the title of the episode, "Papa," that one.
I didn't even think about that. Well, Rugrats came after Prince, so they ripped him off.
Yeah, maybe they did.
Yeah, this is a very high energy song to start the album off. I mean, it takes like a minute to get to that part, but once those keyboards hit in, it's takes off.
Mm-hmm. It's got a unique line in each ear, but it's perfectly balanced. It's amazing.
As all things should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's also got a very 80s keyboard in the background.
Oh, yeah.
This album is
synthesizer.
This album is like quintessential 80s.
Yeah.
From the keyboard to even the album art. Like Prince on this like motorcycle with like this weird floral lining.
I love it. The 80s 80s vibe of it. 80s aesthetic. I
mean, it was 84, so this is as authentic as it can get. I also really like that little like 145 where they have like that keyboard like ascending and descending line as that kind of goes back in the vocal break. Which I will say throughout the album, even though Prince's vocals are obviously very exaggerated, he'll frequently let out screams or hit high notes. He also is willing to let the instrumental breathe every now and then.
Yes, which is I was not expecting personally on my first listen, but there's quite a few spots where it's like, man, I would really like to not have singing here, and then instantly there's no singing, which was magical the first time it happened.
Yeah, Prince knows how to make a pop song. I think there's no doubt here, and it leads into like a at like the 2:45 mark, he goes into like this really, really nice like electric guitar synth breakdown.
Oh yeah. This song feels like the embodiment at that moment. This is the embodiment of the 80s distilled into a single song.
And of course, Prince is the one who's playing the electric guitar on the solo. He does all the guitar solos. He's quite a good guitar player, and that makes it even better whenever he has his little his little vocal let's go, or just shouting out.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, he's just screaming that while he's playing the guitar.
Man, that's crazy. Imagine being good looking, able to sing and play the guitar, and being able to write music.
Hey, Prince was a rare package.
Yeah. I will say the minute-long intro was a bit overkill on this one. Or minute-long outro, sorry, not intro. I really liked it, except for there's that cliche progression.
The dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
What that?
Dun, 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 dun. And then, of course, there's another 30 seconds after that, but that was the only part of the minute-long outro that I did not like.
It's a little cheesy, but also the song's a little cheesy itself.
Yeah.
So it kind of works.
Jump to track number 2 then, if you're ready.
Yeah, track number 2, which is "Take Me With You." And Prince does a thing. And obviously, the song's spelled with "you," the letter, not the name or the word.
The name.
There's probably someone named you. Yeah, but Prince frequently likes to replace the word "you" with the letter "u," and like numbers with the numerical versions of them. Don't know why. That's just his thing. He does it like for all his albums.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The more you know. But this one is much more laid back than the first song. It's more acoustically focused, and it also brings out some strings into the backing track, which is a very nice addition. When it came in with the acoustic, I was not expecting the strings to follow shortly after.
Yeah, it's a nice use of strings too, where it kind of bolsters the song.
Mm-hmm.
Usually with rock songs, I feel like strings are a lot more of a flourish, right? It's like they toss them in at a point. It's like, oh, a little strings, which is nice. But here it's kind of like they almost form like a very nice backbone to the bridge into the intro and then the chorus itself.
Actually using them as an instrument instead of a garnish.
Yeah, exactly. Not that using it as a garnish isn't bad.
No, no. It's nice when it's actually a part of the song.
It feels like a little more incorporated.
Mm-hmm. I will say the lyrics on this one are a bit more repetitive, but it's very much carried by its backing track. The repetitiveness of the lyrics is okay because there's so much going on with the instrumental line, in my opinion. It's not super dense. There's not a like layers upon layers, but there's different parts that fade in and out with elements changing as the song moves along. The way I put it here in my notes was it feels stripped back but full.
Yeah, like it feels definitely like a second song in an album, right? Where it hits you hard with "Let's Go Crazy."
Mm-hmm.
It pulls back a little bit for "Take Me With You." And while the lyrics are repetitive, obviously they're not super deep on this song.
No,
I mean, I love Prince's style of singing. It's got so much character,
mm-hmm.
and it's paired well with a female vocalist on this album as well. I'll have to look up her name because she's actually the female lead in the movie. Apollonia is her name.
Is that the character name or her actual name?
That's actually, it's her both. Wait, no. It's her real name.
Okay.
Yeah, but she pairs nicely with Prince, even though obviously they both sing high because Prince doesn't sing low.
Tell them apart.
Prince has a very androgynous way of singing.
Yeah.
But very distinct.
Very distinct.
You know it's Prince.
Jump into track number 3 then, if you're ready.
Yeah, track number 3, "The Beautiful Ones," which brings the energy even farther down. Which this is actually a completely led Prince song, i.e., he did every instrument in this song.
Of course he did,
because he's a multi-instrumentalist.
right there at the start, I couldn't tell if that was some electronic noises that formed the bass line or some very deep vocoder. I wasn't able to figure it out.
I think it's electronics, but it's kind of hard to tell.
You can almost like pick out what sounds like a voice that's been really slowed down from parts in it. But
I mean, we do have examples of vocal manipulation later in the album.
Yeah.
But yeah, here it's big enough that it's hard to tell. And then it goes into if I can only describe it as an extremely slow love song. That kind of has this like synth backing behind it. And a greater focus on Prince's vocals.
Mm-hmm. It's almost synthwave-esque, although I guess that style is kind of mimicking the style of the 80s, which would just make this synthwave.
So would that make it proto-synthwave?
Is it proto-synthwave if synthwave was just defined at a later time?
I think so. But, yeah. Overall, I think like the synth does some interesting stuff here, but I think it's a little bare at points.
Mm-hmm.
Not bare in like the way that "Take Me With You" was, where it kind of kept a forward momentum. This one feels a little more plodding, if I'm being honest.
I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you a bit there. I liked how this was so much slower than the last one. Going a bit further to where it kind of stops being like that, around 2:45, where some really nice synth comes in. It's very ethereal as the vocals gain some echo to be a bit more ethereal as well, and then suddenly it becomes very, very gruff. It kind of goes off the rails, in my opinion. It gets way too much energy in the vocal and guitar lines, while the rest of the song stays pretty much the same. I liked the sound of the slow love song compared to what it became in the last 2 minutes of the song or so.
Yeah, it definitely has like a significant like tonal shift.
Mm-hmm.
At like the 3:30 mark, where Prince, of course, vocally is like popping off.
Yeah.
But the instrumental not as much.
Just the guitar line for the most part.
Yeah, the guitar line, but the synth still is kind of lazing in the back, which leads to an interesting effect. But it's almost like some like freaking out on a stage, and the instrumental's not keeping up.
Yeah, I personally like the slow love song part of it, and would have been nice to see that continue, but it went a very, very different way.
Still a pretty cool guitar line, though.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's just it felt off to me.
Yeah, a little disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then we can move on to. You ready, Sam?
Yeah. Track number 4.
Number 4, Computer Blues. Computers in my 1984 album. I thought they weren't invented till 2008.
Yeah. This song is the second one that just really like struck home that this is an 80s album for me. The synth that comes in the first 30 seconds, this whole song in its entirety, it makes me feel like I'm watching a Ghostbusters. This sounds like it should be in that movie.
It's very Ghostbusters-esque in that point.
Yeah.
I just got this like really kind of like wacky synth line that's just kind of jumping over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of chunky, doing the heavy lifting, before Prince. It even has that kind of like that classic 80s thing of like empty space intro. Synth line comes in, then you hit him with the vocals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one's kind of more of the instrumental song, which I like. There wasn't a ton of lyrics on this one. There were some, but not a lot. And I just was vibing the whole time. That piercing hi-hat really kind of brings you into a bit of a trance because it's so loud that you have to tune it out to kind of listen to everything else. And there's all these different instrumental lines that come in before going back to the main melodic line. There's a good mix of electric and acoustic with some great piano segments sprinkled in there amongst the heavily electronics. It was just a fun song.
Oh yeah, I mean Prince knows how to make a fun song. I also really liked it like around the 1:30 point, like some wailing guitar comes in, like just like that's kind of goes up and down. And it's got that, like you said, very Ghostbuster-esque, like hold the synth down before letting it go. At least it was just a really cool guitar breakdown.
Yeah.
And then the section after that almost has like almost gets like funky.
Yeah, a little
It's
bit.
hard, it's hard to describe the groove, but I'm not sure if you're getting this. It may just be me, but it almost got like a kind of like a weird funk, like Fleetwood Mac vibe from that section. Just like with it, like kind of going a little more mellow and then bringing the funk in. It's not exactly like it. So
I would say that section gave more the feeling of funk as opposed to actually playing funk.
The spirit, the ghost of Christmas
spirit
funk
was there, but there wasn't any of it being played. So why could you sense the spirit?
You could feel it within Prince himself.
Yeah.
Fun fact about the song, though: originally it was supposed to be a 14-minute song.
Jesus.
Before they edited it down to a 7.5-minute song, and then they edited it down to a 4-minute song, which is what's on the album. Which honestly, probably for the best.
I don't know. I think I would like to hear the original 17-minute cut.
Oh, I'd definitely be willing to listen to it, but this definitely isn't my favorite song in the album. So I'm not sure if I want 14 minutes of it, especially if it came at the cost of like other songs being longer. There is a song on this album that's almost 9 minutes long, but we'll get to that, and we'll have things to say about that one.
Yeah.
And of course, it ends on Prince screaming.
Yeah.
I just feel like that should be brought up.
I feel like several of them end that way, though.
and or start or contain. Yeah, that's just
jump into the next one if you're ready.
Yeah, track number 5, Darling Nikki.
And there is a very nice carryover from track number 4, Computer Blues, to this one, where it just rolls right over from the last one to this, and it works oh so well.
Oh, it's excellent. It's been a while since I've listened to this album, and obviously I was taking notes while I was doing some of my re-listens. It's so smooth, I didn't even notice. I didn't realize the next song has started.
I got a 0.5 second blip from Spotify as it loaded the next one, so I noticed there was a gap.
Mine just went like smoothly into it. It's I couldn't even tell before the new song started. And before we get into the song proper, this song actually has a fun little backstory.
Oh, is it fun?
Well, okay, maybe not fun, but interesting. This song actually is the reason. You know those little black stickers on albums that say like warning, like parent advisory?
Mm-hmm.
That's because of this song.
I believe it. My first comment is I can't believe that this one doesn't have the explicit warning on Spotify.
That's because it created it, literally. The American social issues advocate, whose real name is Tipper Gore, which sounds like a cartoon villain's name.
No, that sounds like a Tipper and Gore. Come on.
His name's Tipper Gore. He actually founded the Parents Music Resource Center the year after this album came out, reportedly because he saw his 11-year-old daughter dancing to this song, Darling Nikki. And he added it to his famous list called the Filthy 15, which was a list of the filthiest 15 songs that were out in like the 80s. And guess what song was at track or was number 1?
80s.
Darling Nikki.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
It also had AC/DC, Let Me Put Your Love in You.
Okay.
For sex. Twisted Sisters, We're Not Gonna Take It. Yeah, that one.
What? There's nothing wrong with that one.
That's for violence.
That is one of the most dad rock white bread songs.
We're not gonna take. Hey, I don't know, Sam. I want to start. It's so anti-authoritarian.
Jesus Christ.
And of course, Merciful Fate's Into the Coven, because the occult.
Coven, you mean?
Whatever.
I don't know that one, but it's really twisted. See, I was like, okay, it kind of makes sense. Like, there's probably some good ones on there that. We're like, okay, yeah, you probably shouldn't let kids listen to it. But really, Twisted Sister, we're not going to take it.
That was my favorite one.
That's the stupidest. If I could name 2 songs that would make the 2 halves of a white bread sandwich, it would be Twisted Sister, We're Not Going to Take It, and Def Leppard's Pour Some Sugar on Me. Those would be the white bread pieces on either side.
Def Leppard is on this list, actually.
Of course they are. And let me guess, it's Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Actually, it's High and Dry, Saturday Night, for drug and alcohol use.
Anyway, back to this one.
Yeah, sorry, that was just a fun little tangent about this song.
It's in the first, 15 seconds, talking about walking into a foyer with some chick masturbating on a couch.
Yeah, to be fair, this is a pretty sexually charged song.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of Prince's music.
Yeah.
This album's actually relatively tame. If you ever listen to his Batman soundtrack, it's actually kind of pretty sexual.
I'm struggling to see where some of those songs would be placed in the movie.
Yeah, Prince made a Batman soundtrack. What can I say?
Leading to some awkward moments of Batman and Robin in the Batmobile.
Oy. Hey, in that Batman movie, it's just Batman and the Joker. So it'd be Michael Keaton making out with Jack Nicholson. Try to get that image out of your head.
I don't want to.
But actually, about this song, besides the obviously very off-kilter lyrics, it actually pairs quite well with a kind of off-kilter instrumentation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got heavy focus on the lyrics, of course, with a bit of drum kit, which normally I don't like, but on this album, I feel like it's used very well whenever it is. There's a couple spots later that I'll talk about as well, with some strong electric guitar. And every time the chorus comes around, the chorus in quotations, because the chorus is different every time, more and more instruments come in to kind of build the track, or rather, the instruments that are already there playing super sparse parts actually play continuously.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting effect where it kind of swings between like these really spastic sections and these really calm sections. Which, as far as I could tell with the story, kind of follows it along there. And of course, as always, Prince is vocally going off. I especially like this section at like the 2:30 mark.
Mm-hmm.
Where he just really pops off vocally.
Yeah, This one and Computer Blues, or not Computer Blues, Beautiful Ones, he really goes crazy. And
it's like the instrumentation can almost not keep up.
Mm-hmm.
Though it does lead right into like a really great, like uber heavy synth breakdown. Like these rattling drums. Oh man. It's a nice payoff considering how like kind of disparate the song was to kind of end on a solid synth run.
Yeah, I will say it kind of suffers from miracle musical disease, which we haven't talked about for quite a while now. So I'll briefly explain it. Miracle musical disease is, there was an album very early on we listened to called Hawaii Part 2. There's no Part 1, don't look for it. Where the last minute of every song was just a different song for the most part. Complete style change, same instruments, different tempo. And it just basically was a different song for a minute at the end of the song to wrap it off. And I felt like this one suffered from that a bit. The song kind of ends, and then there's like this additional minute of stuff that could just be cut, in my opinion. Like there's some rain sounds and talking, but it just felt unneeded.
I'm assuming it's probably movie related.
You're probably right, and I didn't realize that this was a movie soundtrack while listening, but
which obviously makes it a little more understandable. Still, I agree where maybe this should have been just like the song ends and there's a minute interlude.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like it's kind of interesting. It's got like these kind of spooky backward singing and like wind and rain effects. But yeah, it doesn't really play too. I guess Darling Nikki is probably like the most unconventional instrumentation on this album.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt a little tacked on.
Yeah, just unneeded. Jump into track number 6 then, if you're ready.
Track number 6 and the first track on side 2 of this album.
Which is why you turn the album over.
Yeah, you're going to want to turn the album over for...
Or you might just start on this side if we're being honest.
To the track When Doves Cry, which even if you've never even heard of Prince, you have almost certainly heard this song. I dare say this might be his most famous one.
I would agree with that, I think. People probably know the name or the chorus from Purple Rain, but When Doves Cry is the song that to be like, okay, I know this song, I didn't realize I knew this song, and I didn't know it was Prince. Yeah,
this is like it's so ambiguous. It's kind of dissolved in the fabric of popular culture.
Yeah.
You just know it through osmosis. But yeah, it starts with this kind of really energetic wild guitar and this distinct drum beat before the like iconic like keyboard line comes in. And this keyboard line's going to be throughout the entire song, so it's good that it's a banger one.
I don't know why I love the main melodic line so much. It's so simple, but maybe it's just because it's iconic. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I recognize that. That's my son, that kind of thing.
That's my boy.
He's failing at doing anything good, but you're proud of him because you know him.
I mean, this song's doing something good. I mean,
yeah.
That synth line is like, it's like a fish hook, right? It just catches you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of drops off for this like just vocal line with this like heavy drum kit in the back, with it's just all focused on Prince.
Yeah, but that vocal line, there's so many layers to that vocal. There's some of those lines in there are so low, and I mean, so low for Prince, and it sounds weird almost with how low it is. And then it goes all the way up to his highest falsetto, and it's just such a nice stack. It's so deep.
Yeah, I can't even name how many vocals have been, or like the number of vocals that are stacked on the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another song he did all the instrumentation for, and of course all the vocals.
Wow.
This is 100% Prince. And especially whenever the beginning of the chorus, where the vocals kind of stay kind of close together, but then this chorus goes on, they kind of branch off into lower and higher. It's a really cool effect.
Yeah, it's really nice. This is the one I was talking about earlier where I was talking about the heavy reliance on the drum pad, and usually I'm against those, but for this one it just works. I don't know why. I think it's also because there is drum kit in the background as well, or drum set rather, which kind of helps to pad out some of the flatness that a drum pad usually is with actual snare and hi-hat. But it just the drums on this were also just fantastic.
Oh yeah, the drums, and then like they just, I don't know, because the song is on paper a little sparse instrumentally wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got like the drum kit and like the synth, and that's basically it for a lot of the song. But those vocals are like so dense, and like the song has such a strong progression.
Mm-hmm.
Like each chorus has like a little more vocals, and the drums get a little more energetic, and the synth fills up a little bit more. You just keep wanting to listen to it.
Yeah, it's certainly a fun song. I will say it does hold on a bit too long. The outro sequence was just a bit long for me, but that synth finisher makes it all worth it.
I mean, that's fair. It's a 6-minute song.
Yeah.
But yeah, it even has like this kind of it's almost like fluty synth going on in the background as it goes along, and of course a guitar solo. Because what's a Prince pop song without a Prince guitar solo? And even like some harpsichord maybe works in there.
I
like at the very end,
but I can.
Or maybe a keyboard trying to be a harpsichord.
It's probably a synth with harpsichord setting.
It's very electronic. What's the word? Electronic. That's a word.
Yeah, electronic's a word.
That's a very common word, actually.
Yes, we've said it several times already. Jump into track number 7, then, if you're ready.
Yes, track number 7.
I would
die for you.
With 4 being the number 4 and you being
the letter U, of course.
Now, I don't have a lot. This is the shortest song on the album.
At 3 minutes, yes.
At 3 minutes. Just under 3 minutes. But having listened to every other song on this album is at least a full minute longer. I felt like this one just didn't develop. It's got a good beat, but it just feels kind of pretty compared to everything else on the album. It's not a bad song in any respect, but it just feels like it's underdeveloped compared to everything else.
I definitely know what you mean about it being like a little less developed than the other songs. Like I guess it just doesn't have the song length as much to develop. And it does kind of hit you with the energy at the beginning and then just kind of keeps it at that level.
Yeah.
I'm pretty okay with it just because it's the shortest song of the album. So clearly, he kind of knew that's how long you want to keep it. And I also really like that energy at like the 1:15 point, where like it kind of drops off for the bass and drums and this kind of odd sounding guitar line kind of jumps in. So even the song has like interesting points going throughout. But it's not there's no like hidden layers to this song.
Yeah.
It's very, hard on the sleeve.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But, I still like what it is.
Yeah,
simple groove and hook, but
it's okay.
On this album's been has a little more progression than a lot of the albums we've reviewed. So even if it's a little simple, I still dig it.
Yeah, that was all I had for that one. It didn't hold me the same as the other ones.
Yeah.
Jump to 8 then, if you're ready.
Yeah, track number 8, "Baby, I'm a Star," which fun fact was actually going to be originally in the in the Batman soundtrack.
Really?
Yes, it was going to be used in that. Have you ever seen the Batman, the original one with Michael Keaton?
I have not.
Oh, there's this scene where the Joker's at a parade, and he's like, causing chaos. This was supposed to be the song that played. But he decided to put into Purple Rain instead.
Yeah, I really like the way this one starts the same way that I Would Die For You ends. I like that carryover. Did you pick up on that? There's like that little synth up, and then it does the synth either down or up at the beginning of this.
It's a small thing, but it really adds to like the cohesion of the song of the album. I'm always a sucker for artists. Just it's the little things that add up to the album experience.
Little details. It's got those high-paced drums that drive the song forward with little help from anything else. There's some synth and piano that pops in occasionally, but mainly it's the ground level is these crowd sounds that are kind of always in the background that you can't really lock in super tight on.
Oh yeah, it's kind of ever present over this. They call it it's a very direct groove. Maybe a little more akin to "I Would Die For You," but I feel like slightly more well developed.
Yeah, especially around 3:30, some funky synth comes in, which is just what the song needed to kind of spice it up as it gets towards the end. And the synth sticks around, which is important. I feel often when artists do that, they pop it in.
It's like a 20-second snippet, and then they're back to the chorus
to break it up, and then they pull it out. But that synth sticks through to the end.
Oh yeah, it kind of sticks around. So I do agree where I like how it kind of carries the song out. And unlike on Darely Nikki, it feels like an extension of the song, even though it's a little markedly different. It still feels like the song's energy and payoff are a through line, as opposed to like a break.
Yeah. This I will say this one really grew on me. There was enough that was brought in to spice up the track without getting too bland, even while analyzing.
Yeah, it's a very fun. It gives me a big like this is the one that you run the credits into. The like I said, I've never seen the movie Purple Rain, but obviously this is the song of the album, so this is like the victory, "Baby, I'm a Star" song. So it's just got a very likable energy to it.
Very, very fun song. Jumping on over to the last track on the album.
Yes, the last track, the title track.
Titular track, if you will.
Track number 9, "Purple Rain," which is ranked as one of the, like I said, one of the top songs on the Rolling Stones song list. And this between this and "When Doves Cry" is probably his two most famous songs.
Yeah, definitely. Before this, I probably couldn't name 2 other Prince songs.
There's some good Prince songs out there.
I realize that now, having listened to this album. Even the non-famous ones are really freaking good.
The man's he was not a one-hit wonder for sure.
Mm-hmm. This one is it starts much slower than I remembered. I listened to the song before this week, much in the past, but it doesn't feel slow. Before I realized it, I was like a minute 45 in, and I swear the song just started.
It feels deliberate.
Yeah.
Where again, it's one of those things where, like, on paper, it's like drum set, a little bit of synth in the background, some light electric, and just Prince having a little more subdued vocals, at least at first. But yeah, it just feels full. And the song's kind of like a masterclass in good build-up because it's a 9-minute song, right?
Well,
this is not a short song.
It's 6.5 minute song.
Oh, okay. 6.5 minute song. Yeah, I almost forgot about those last 2 minutes.
Yeah, we'll get to those.
We'll get to that. But yeah, still a long song. But it just has such good pacing. Where the first chorus is actually everyone's if you know the song Purple Rain, just belting out the chorus. But the first one's kind of subdued, kind of
Very
pulled
subdued.
in, right?
Yeah.
Prince is almost whisper singing on it.
And then the strings come in after the chorus. And they build and build and build to the second chorus, where it is, I don't know if it's a choir or Prince layering the hell out of his voice, but it's big.
And not only is it big, it feels earned. Because at this point, you're like 2 minutes into the song, and you're like, and your brain, you don't even realize it, but your brain's like, oh, this is where it's going. This is where it's building to. Yeah, it's like each chorus just kind of like builds and just ropes itself higher and higher up. It's great song progression. Very
great. In between, there's the spoken word lyrics, which work really well with the pacing of the song. And normally, I'm not too big of a fan of those, but it just works in this one. Thanks, Todd. Just works.
It just works. Purple Rain is one of the biggest games we've made yet.
And then Purple Rain was the one where I was like, man, I could really use an instrumental break right now. And then bang, right at that moment, 4 minutes, it brings out the haunting guitar solo with some really heavy backing strings.
Oh, that guitar solo.
So good.
This is a emotional payoff is what the kids call it in music school.
What the kids call it.
You can almost again, I've never seen this movie, but I can already see Prince literally in rain, just playing his heart out, next to like a chain link fence or something.
The camera zooms in on the water coming off of his guitar strings as he strums them.
Yeah, and I haven't seen this movie. This is all from the music.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. This song's it's pretty magical. It well earns its right of being such a famous song.
Oh yeah.
Because you can't it's hard to not like this song of just how well paced it is, how much the vocals and the instrumentation just builds and grows into this electronic guitar solo at the end. And again, it goes back to what I said about Prince letting the instrumentals breathe. He just lets the solo play out, and it's beautiful.
Oh yeah. And then we get to the end. The song ends 2 minutes before the end of the track.
On some very nice, high-pitched, falsetto woos, might I add, over the guitar solo.
Yeah. I will say, the 30 seconds of outro, that's fine. It's the end of a movie.
End of an album.
The end of an album, very long song. It's earned after that build-up. The last minute 30, super gratuitous. No need for that. It kind of just keeps coming back to go out again.
Yeah, I kind of think that again goes back to the movie aspect. It's a very atmospheric way of going. I don't necessarily dislike it in theory. I mean, I definitely wish, again, with Darling Nikki, this was just named Interlude 2, right? And it was just minute and a half song at the end of Purple, in a distinct track of its own.
Yeah.
This is one of those doesn't make it to the radio edit the sections.
Yeah.
I bet it is an interesting.
Purple Rain's probably a 6-minute song or something like that.
Yeah, but it's even though like you said, it's kind of miracle musical, kind of distinct second song.
Mm-hmm.
I still like the way it goes, where it's this very atmospheric violins kind of leading out the album. Even though it doesn't quite mesh with the song before it, I still dig thematically what it does.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of earned, but at the same time, probably could cut the fat out. It wouldn't suffer that badly.
Oh yeah, it's not necessary. Yeah. It could have ended right at the 6:30 minute mark. Yeah. But I don't think it overall harms the album.
Yeah, and then again, it's only a 45-minute album, so it's not, you're not hurting for it. That's about 45's okay, yeah, that's fine.
I would say that's actually the platonic ideal of an album length.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff Lynne, for your 30-minute album.
I did the bare minimum.
Each song is 2 minutes 30.
That's what whenever your teacher asks you to write a 5-page essay, it's like you're like half a sentence into the 5th page. You're like, well, there we go.
Well, and there we go. That's the end of the album.
That is.
So why don't we go with you first, Cooper? What is your least favorite song on the album?
Least favorite, I'd probably have to go with The Beautiful Ones. I think it's a little like a lot of these songs have stripped back qualities, but I think this one utilizes it the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Or none of the aspects kind of mesh that well together for me. Like the swelling synth behind Prince is kind of interesting, and it's got a nice little guitar riff at the end. But for me, I found it a little boring. Which it's hard to find that with Prince.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say that's my skip if I had to choose one. What about you, Sam? Though I have a feeling I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I have to go with I Would Die For You.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't hold my attention at all, even while I was desperately trying to focus on it. And it's not bad, but just compared to everything else, I think if it was dropped off the album, you wouldn't really notice all that much. Everything that it does is kind of done elsewhere. I will say my second least favorite was Take Me With You, which I feel like it's not anywhere close to being as bad as I Would Die For You in my books, but I don't know. I Would Die For You, you could probably drop and you wouldn't be any worse off for it.
Yeah. I like Take Me With You.
Yeah.
But I can understand.
Yeah. As the shortest song, it just he started where he ended, and that kind of ruined it for me.
Well, on the other hand, then, what's your favorite track then?
Favorite track would have to be Let's Go Crazy, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I really like the synth intro, how 80s it all feels. There's that saw wave synth in there, the super guitar solo. Of course, When Doves Cry and Purple Rain is fantastic. And also Computer Blue. I actually really like that one as well. Those are probably my top 4 on the album. But there was just something about Let's Go Crazy after listening to it a couple of times that it really hooked me.
It's definitely the most just pure fun song on the album.
Yeah,
which Prince does really well.
But I feel like it just distills everything that this album is about down into one little song. Nice. Aside from the slow parts.
Oh yeah. I'll probably have to be a little more conventional. Say When Doves Cry is my favorite. I'm not gonna. I don't know what I can say that I'm sure everyone else hasn't already said about the song.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, Purple Rain and Let's Go Crazy in a close second and third.
Yeah.
Song's got a great middle, beginning, and end. It's like these tentpole tracks.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've listened to an album with even I Would Die For You is probably better than most of the other songs that I would rate as my least favorite of past albums we've done.
Yeah, even though I didn't really care for The Beautiful Ones, it's still, I think, technically a very listenable song.
Oh yeah. But those are our least favorite. So let's get into the rating. And I think you did it last week, Cooper, so I'll take over this week.
Yeah, go for it.
Layer on the extra profanity for your parents. So,
well, thank you.
So we have a 1 out of 5 to 5 out of 5 rating system here at Audio Shop. And because our podcast is a music podcast themed around cars for some godforsaken reason, we chose cars as the rating system. So 5 out of 5 is Showroom, the cream of the crop, the best of the best. It's the brand new Tesla sitting in the showroom that you're never gonna be able to afford, but you climb into and play with because the person showing you the car just can't say no. And then we got 1 out of 5, which is Scrapyard, bottom of the barrel. You don't want this. Probably takes a couple of years off your life while you listen to it. Definitely at least gives you one communicable disease. It's not a good time. And then we do high and low depending on our mood. And I would say a like new one day might be a fixer-upper the next. You're probably not going to get too much jump between, but I know I've had a couple of bad days where I've given a fixer-upper where I should have probably done a like new, where I used rental where it should have been a fixer-upper. But
yeah, there's some wiggle room.
Yeah, there's some wiggle
room. Not hard science here.
Yeah. And basically anything fixer-upper and above, we recommend you listen to. Low fixer-upper and below, you probably don't want to listen to it.
Yeah.
Look
probably
Imagine
not.
Dragons Origins.
It's basically not worth the time spent listening to it.
Yes. So Cooper, what is your rating of this album? And I'm going to be so confident that I am going to show yours now and type it in before you even say anything.
Actually, so throughout this entire review, I originally actually had it down in my notes as a high like new. Because there are a song or two on this album that obviously aren't as strong as the strongest songs in the album, which, is unfair to, when you're comparing, Purple Rain and When Doves Cry.
Yeah.
But, in saying that, also, whenever we review this album, I keep the album open in another tab so I can skip around to the song to the parts I'm talking about, just kind of, re-listen to them as I'm talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
And even during this review, sometimes it's just been playing, and I've kind of lost my train of thought just because it's a good song.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I can't help but feel like in my heart of hearts, I really do want to give it like a low showroom. Like I said, originally going to give it a like new. Today I'm feeling a showroom, just because even though there's a couple, there's some quirks on the album. It's not perfect. Like I said, Beautiful Ones isn't my favorite song. There's some like sections in some songs that are obviously like a little more movie specific that don't really enhance the album anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's like a tight 9-track album. Each song, it's Purple Rain is kind of like a microcosm of like this album just builds, right? It's like a B-side is arguably better than A-side. I don't know what to say. This album is just really fun, really well put together. It's got a very distinct character of itself. It brims with the 80s, and I just, enjoy listening to it. I don't know what else you can say, Sam. I just like it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a low showroom.
I'm glad that I knew what you were going to rate it better than what you knew you were going to rate it. And I got to agree. I'm giving it a showroom as well. I'm not going low, though. I'm going stock middle. Show me a better pop album, and I will show you another Prince album. I don't know where I was going with that.
Same much. Now I'll show you the door.
I think this is probably one of the better pop albums of all times. I'm probably very biased, as in it is 80s and synth heavy, and I love those two things. But I think it's great, and I might be converted to the side of people who argue that Michael Jackson was not the king of all pop because Prince exists.
The tale is old as time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this album is definitely a good point in terms of Prince's score.
Oh yeah.
I feel at this point I feel like we're just gonna have to find a time to to watch the movie.
Oh,
I can't imagine. I can't imagine the movie will make the album better.
I imagine it's gonna make it worse.
But at this point, I just kind of want to watch it just to see how Prince acts in it.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But yeah, that's that. That's the album review. Now we're gonna roll on over a little car pun there to the spare tire, which is just whatever else we've been listening to this past week. I.e., Cooper tells us what albums he's been listening to, and then I tell you what 6 songs I've been listening to on repeat that are the same as last week.
Oh, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, because yours is going to be more interesting than mine.
Well, not exactly this week, because I've mostly just been listening to a lot of Prince. Obviously this album, but I've also been listening a lot through what albums were they? Gold Experience. and Come, and
Come again?
the Black Album. The album's called Come. Come. No, it does.
Con.
No, what? Come. Come.
Oh, Come. Oh, I just had a stroke there. Jesus.
No, it does. This album does end on a woman orgasming, so it's not very subtle. But the Gold
I'm having
Experience.
some nice flashbacks to that time we listened to that Biggie Smalls album. That was pretty bad.
Hey, come on, you liked that album. I mean, you didn't, but I liked that album.
That was not a good album.
Hey. But the Gold Experience is actually a pretty excellent album. I hadn't listened to it before. And it was released back in 1995.
Now, is that influencing a specific anime that I'm thinking of, or
no? It's not. That's not the reason. It's just a very good album, though that does help.
No, but I'm asking: was that where the name for?
Oh yeah. That's where that came from. The Gold Experience. Yeah, I've just been listening to a lot of Prince this week.
Oh, I guess I'm a bit more varied than you this week.
Yeah, surprisingly. I don't know. I'm just really digging him right now. I'm on a roll after listening to Purple Rain.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame you. I listened to some sketches of Brunswick East by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Just nice and chill. Got some real good songs on it. I always forget how good the book is every time. I guess this one is by Mild High Club as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a fun album. Three of the songs on the album are on my chill playlist, which is where I started listening to my chill playlist again. And it's got Sketch of Brunswick East 1, Sketch of Brunswick East 2, and then Dusted On Ligon Street, which are all fantastic songs. And that just made me, you know what? I'm going to listen to the album again. And then I also listened to, I actually have a organ concerto playlist that I've constructed. So a little bit of Bach in there, some Gruber, Sebastian Gruber, that is. Camille Saint-Saëns, Marcel Dupree. So some classics in there and a couple others. I really need to start fleshing out this playlist more. It's only 6 songs long, but if I ever want to focus, throw this thing on, I will be in the zone. There's just
very
something
sophisticated.
Yeah. These are all songs from a playlist that I used to use in college, and they just suck you right in, especially the Bach stuff. The way it flows, I have 2 songs on here that are back to back on the in the album. Toccata and Fugue in D, and let's see. Don't play the song, please. In D minor. The way it's worded is terrible, but 1 and 2 basically, and they flow into each other beautifully. And it's just, they're so good for focusing. If you guys don't listen to organ music, I highly suggest it. I'm a sucker for organ and synth though, so that might just be me.
Bach really was the prince of his time, wasn't he?
Yeah, you could say that. Yes,
did all his own music too.
Yes, he did. Well, no, he didn't, because I think he could only play organ. I don't think he did the brass parts.
Yeah, I don't think that was possible. Yeah, I think it was impossible to play. They couldn't really record it.
That's a good point.
Just right to the other side of the stage and grab an oboe, already out of breath.
Yeah, there's a reason that the organ was invented, because it compressed the air so you could play a lot more notes at the same time alone.
Oh, clever!
I love the way those old air organs sound. I'd love to learn to play one someday. That might be a pipe dream.
Whoa.
A little bit of organ jokes for you there. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this week's Audio Shop podcast. We actually blazed through that album pretty quick. Compared to some of the very short albums we've listened to recently. But if you like what you heard and you want to listen to some more, you scroll down, you click on that picture of the dude with the curly hair and glasses. That's Jeff Lynn. And it'll take you on over to YouTube, where we have all the past episodes. And then if you're listening on YouTube and you want to watch us live, 8 p.m. EST for now, because Cooper's going to be moving, and we'll see if that affects anything. There's going to be a significant time difference at that point.
Yeah, for now, we'll keep you updated at Audio Shop 14. Follow us there.
On Twitter, that is.
Well, on Twitter, yeah.
But thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See ya.